Hello everybody, name is Lana Angel, and I'm here to change your perspective about learning disabilities in general. I have all of the most popular disabilities that are looking down upon, like example dyslexia, Asperger syndromes, and ADHD. And except the last one, which is already have been sort of debunked and accepted, the first two are having a tough time being accepted in society. Till this day, when I speak up about my disabilities, or should call them disabilities, because they're just features of me. They're not something to be down upon. Most people will frown, will pity me, will look at it and think about it as a disease which should be cured, instead of just a feature. I'll be completely honest, they're not completely understood, even by me. But what I can tell you, that having those features did change a lot of how I grew up. Did change a lot how people perceived me. Even my parents, who's been influenced by the schools, education systems, and other around them, looked at that as a crippling symptom of some sort of disease that should be cured. Not knowingly made me believe that I am crippled myself. So I don't know if you can tell, but English is not my first language. But I am here to change the world's perception on those features that people call disabilities. So dyslexia is basically just me and having problem reading. Like some people say, oh, the letters are jumping. No, 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 no. You see the letters in reverse. No, 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 no. Like the letters are dancing? No! I'm just reading slowly. The process of connecting the letters are much slower than in a regular person. That's it. It's not something like I'm on an LSD or anything, because this is what's still being taught to other kids, that dyslexia is when the letters are being jumping around on the paper. People actually believe this type of shenanigans. And when people believe nonsense, they start to make me feel like I'm nonsense. Dyslexia is basically just people that are reading in a much slower pace. That's it. I can read numbers just fine. Some people have dyscalculia, so they read numbers much slower, or the process of connecting the numbers together are slower with them. Those people are having known as being not so good in math. That's it. But it's much more accepting than being dyslexic. Because when you're dyslexic, you cannot communicate. Most religious groups, when they encounter those type of things, are really bashing those who have those features. Because they cannot read the Torah, they cannot read the Bible, they cannot read the Quran, so they cannot be taught. They're being exiled from their societies. Only the religious folks who do that. Everybody does it to all those who are dyslexic or so. So this is about the communications that I'm talking about, written communications. And yes, I study and learn by listening to audiobooks, because I can't read effectively the books that you're reading. Saying I'm crippled and there's nothing I can do about it, this is like the worst thing you can do to anybody. You're blind, so you're going to be blind for the rest of your life. Somebody invented glasses, and it works. Doesn't fix the problems in the eyes, but it certainly helps with them. After I finished feeling bad for myself throughout all my childhood for being crippled, as they say, I decided to teach myself what I wasn't taught in school. I can read now, maybe not perfectly, but I can. I can understand human emotions, something I couldn't before at all, maybe not perfectly, but I can. Let's talk about Asperger syndromes. Something that this very day is not really understood much. I didn't understand what it is. I grew up with it. I couldn't communicate non-verbally. I couldn't understand emotions very well. I couldn't understand that I can't understand emotions very well because everybody assumed I'm brain damaged. Even that is not much of a problem as me perceiving myself as damaged. The biggest problem was the perception of Asperger's as a disease. as something bad, as something sinister. Assume whatever you want with this information. But I'm going to share with you something my sister made. Can't thank her enough for making this presentation, who really explains how this Asperger things work.
I want to talk to you today about Asperger's syndrome. It's a disability, it's more of a social disability, but it's not a bad word because Elon Musk has it. And Greta, the girl from Sweden, also on the autistic spectrum. So, behavior patterns. They really struggle with nonverbal communication. They can't understand facial expressions. They won't understand if you're upset, mad, just want to talk to them, they won't get it. They also struggle with sarcasm. They just can't get it. only, only literally. So that leads to social problems. When you can't understand people, people won't understand you back, and the most simple life situation are very complicated for them. How does it all have to do any with me? Um, those are my parents. This is me, and the white guy on the side is my brother, and my older brother. He's 26 and he has Asperger syndrome. He had it his whole life. We just didn't know until he was like 11. You can see there is nothing weird with his face, like people with autism, except the fact that he's very pale, like a vampire, I suspect. So, people with Asperger syndrome and autism tend to be attracted to only one hobby. For those of you who saw the Big Bang Theory, he is really like the Sheldon character. They have a lot in common. So that special hobby I talked about, for my brother, it's photography. He is absolutely obsessed with it on all levels. He always buys the newest, expensivest equipment, but he also has a very special talent of losing, breaking, and just can't find that equipment anywhere. And when my brother was a kid, his special hobby used to be science. Yeah, science. He used to have a little microscope, kid's microscope, but like a professional one. And he used to lock himself all day in his room and just examining everything around him for days. He used to watch the Discovery Channel all day long. By the way, he taught himself all the scientific terms because he's also dyslexic and he couldn't read the subtitles. So you can understand he's a very intelligent person, but he also was very strange born in a very unaccepting environment. That led to awful bullying. It was horrible. The kids had no mercy. It was terrible. So much, so much hate, so much. He couldn't fit in, no matter what he did. It was horrible. So, I'm his sister, and I love him unconditionally. Of course, he's my brother, and there is a lot of people among us that are different. And I wanted to tell you all to always try to be kind to the people around you, even if they're a little bit different.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed my sister's presentation. I just want you to have this simple idea in your head. Just because something sounds like a disease, you don't need to jump to a conclusion that it is something bad or pity the person who has it. If we will be like this forever, we can never go any further in life. I'm here to change the world's perception of those things and not trying to fix the person with the special feature. Thank you for listening. My name is Alan Angel, and I'm here to change the world's perception on disabilities in general. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!